Welcome to Energy is Currency, the Millennial Development Podcast devoted to helping you mind your business personally and professionally. My name is Alexis Williams, and I am your marketing consultant, idea generator, and mini modern philosopher, the entrepreneur that checks all the boxes, whatever that may mean. Subscribe to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and iHeartRadio to listen to every gem in every episode. Season 1 is available on all streaming platforms. Welcome back to Energy is Currency. I am having so much fun. I am in the presence of Kris Land today, and he is going to give us some really good gems and eye-openers. The conversation, when he was introduced to me, it was a phrase that just took me aback that I was like, yeah, I need to speak with him. And he said, the phrase was, we're going to turn fear into a teacher instead of a warden. And that has the show is just about your energy, your currency, what you're bringing to the experience. But I don't think that we understand our relationship with fear. So we're going to have a really, really, really in-depth, powerful conversation with Kris. So I'm going to let him give you all the deets. He wants to tell you what he needs you all to know about him, and we're going to have some fun with it. Okay. So Kris, the floor is yours. Tell the people what we need to know.
Well, first off, Alexis, thank you so much for having me on your show.
Absolutely.
I very much appreciate it. So we'll start with the fear concept. That's kind of like stepping into the middle.
Well, tell us, you were telling me before we got started about your book publishing experience.
Okay. Because that's more of the beginning that gets you to where fear can be used more as a signpost than something that freezes and stops us.
Yes.
So I grew up in North Dakota.
Okay.
I was very much what would be considered a computer geek. I did not communicate well with my peers. I was kind of an introverted kid. Okay. And I did my own thing. And so when I was in junior high, I started selling Apple II computers, which will age me quite a bit.
Okay.
And also learned, I was a self-taught programmer at the time.
Wow.
And one of the gentlemen that bought his first Apple II for me wanted to do accounting software for his farm. So he knew how accounting looked and what he wanted, and I know how to program, so we did that, and we created a company around it.
Oh, fun.
And then at the age of 17, I sold the company for a whole bunch of money. The problem is that 6 months later, I fell into a deep depression. Now, back then, I didn't understand it at all. Nowadays, you hear stories about people that win the lottery and destroy their lives. Yeah. Well, at least I have a view on how that looks. And for me, the way it looked is I'd achieved what I thought was every goal I was supposed to achieve. We're all taught that we're supposed to go make money, work hard, make a lot of money, do this and do that. I'd done this all at age 17, and I had no idea what to do next. In fact, the whole thing of, okay, now what, became a real problem.
Oh, okay.
And so the first thing I did was I worked on creating 3 goals that I can do daily, never fully achieve, but always work towards.
Okay.
And that kind of helped me get out of the depression state. And then I got hired at a bank down in San Diego, and my boss's name coincidentally was Kris as well. And in one of the discussions we had, he told me he was an atheist. And even though I have no problem with people believing whatever they want to believe, at that particular time, for me, it didn't sit right for him, for me. Okay. And so I started really looking into it and saying, well, how does that look and why? And after spending some time with it, I came up with 4 questions that when you ask them, it doesn't prove you have a soul or not, but what it does do is it shows that all the upside is in believing you have a soul, and all the downside is in believing you don't.
Okay.
Well, from there, that left me with a question, because now and when I went through the questions with Kris, it actually changed the way he looked and thought about things. But it left me with, okay, great. I've kind of shown him that we have a soul, or at least he's thinking about it. What is a soul? What is it doing here?
What is the function? Okay, we have
here?
it.
Right?
I have it. So now what?
Yeah. Okay. So that's great. We have it. I have it. I understand. And I've kind of proven why it makes sense that I have it. But what does that all mean?
What am I supposed to do with it?
Exactly. So that was what I call one leg on this three-legged stool that started me on the journey of writing what was originally called the Soul Path, or Your Soul Path.
Okay.
And became the Infinity Within.
Oh, okay.
The two other legs to the stool were that growing up from a young age, meaning, probably the first big event was at 6 years old. I had a very, very strong out-of-body experience, and I had a number of those growing up. At 15, I had a near-death experience that could have just as easily been a death experience. And I had a lot of things happen to me growing up that are not quote unquote real. Okay. We're told that they're imaginary, that we made it up, or we had a bad dream, or we ate the wrong food, or whatever. And what I found was from those events is that what we're told is going on in real probably is not the deal. The third item, or the third leg on the stool, was that I was always very curious about theology. And so I spent a lot of time growing up studying and researching a bunch of different theologies and really kind of digging into them. And what I found was that across all the different theologies that I read and studied and looked at, that the semantics are all very different, but the results are pretty darn close to the same. Okay.
Got some patterns happening here.
Yeah, so from that, it was like, okay, great. What is a soul? Well, the easiest way to answer that question is to use the Bible, which is arguably the most read book on the planet, and go to a couple of chapters and verses. And I'm just going to cite a couple, but it turns out that if you read it again with a different viewpoint, these chapters and verses I'm going to kind of talk about are actually strewn throughout the book. It's not like a one-up thing.
Yeah.
So things like, we are the children of God. And Jesus telling his disciples, you will do everything I've done and much more.
Okay.
And how we are made in the image of our Father and can make heaven on earth. I mean, there's all these things that as a child I took kind of as a empirical, pray on high kind of thing. But what if it was meant to be a little more literal? Like maybe we are all co-creators and gods running around. Well, what does that look like?
What does that look like?
Okay.
I love this. These are great questions. Okay.
And from my background of computers and science, I tend to try to ask questions that boil it down to the minimal pieces.
Yes.
So let's run with that for a second. We're these soul-like beings. Well, great. What does a soul-like being do? Well, I could only come up with three things that a soul that lives outside of time and space and is this infinite being really could do. And that's create things. Meaning like universes and planets and dimensions, destroy things, kind of the opposite of that, right? And play games.
Okay. So I'm curious about the play games part, right?
Right. Well, creation, destruction, we don't have to spend a lot of time because that's pretty easy to understand.
Yeah, pretty fair.
Okay. So great. What makes a game a game?
Right.
I could only come up to three things. You have pieces, you have turns, and you have rules.
Ooh, I see what you're doing here. I'm listening. I see what you're doing. I'm listening. You're cooking, Kris. I'm listening. Go ahead.
All right. So we kind of now understand what a game is. We've said, well, souls do these three things. So that kind of makes sense. Well, then let's, for just the sake of argument, take a look at the planet Earth and what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a fourth dimensional construct,
Okay.
meaning that the primary motivator here on Earth is time.
Yes.
And when you go to 3 dimensions and below, time doesn't exist. When you go 5 and above, time exists, but it's not as important.
Yeah.
But in a fourth dimensional construct, time is the primary motivator.
Okay.
Okay. From a soul's perspective, looking in, let's say it's called the game of planet Earth, what would be interesting? Why would I want to play the game of planet Earth? Because it's a time-based system, what would be inviting, curious, and interesting for a infinite being to do?
Ooh. I'm sure we can come up with lots of answers, right? No, it's only one answer?
I came up with one thing.
Okay, I'm listening.
Experience or experience emotions.
Understood.
The experience, because with time, you're allowed to experience emotions as they
happen. Yeah, the frequency.
as they happen, right?
Obviously, yeah.
Okay, so let's play with that for a second. Okay, so great. I'm up at the pearly gates, and there's this game of planet Earth, and the pieces are going to be either me or a part of me.
Mm-hmm.
The turns are going to be lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's look at what the rules look like. So rule 1 would be that when I go to play in the game, I agree to leave all my godlike abilities outside.
Oh, okay.
Now, why would I do that? If you and I play Monopoly and I grab all the money and all the properties, you're not going to want to play that game with me very long.
No.
And it's pretty boring.
I am a table flipper when it comes to Monopoly, so I do identify with this. Yes.
But that would be using your godlike abilities.
Oh, I see what you did there. Maybe I can't separate them.
The whole table, that's not within the construct and rules of Monopoly, right?
Well, maybe I don't operate from like such a human perspective. Maybe I honor the deity in me, right?
Perfectly fine. Okay, so rule 1 is we agree to leave our abilities to the side, and that kind of does what we want to do, except that here's where it gets a little complicated. My favorite dog runs across the street, gets run over, and I go, I don't like that at all. And I draw on my power, I change the situation, it never happened. Well, if I'm coming to play the game to experience emotion, but I can change all the outcomes.
Are you really playing the game? Or are you just
am I really playing it to its fullest? Exactly. So in comes rule number 2.
Framing. Okay.
Number 2 is that we agree to forget that we ever had them.
Oh, I don't think I forgot.
Oh, you'll see where this leads.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. So we've put all our godlike abilities away. We've agreed to forget that we had them, but we can't stop there because that would be an infinite trap loop.
Gotcha.
Meaning that there'd be a piece of us stuck in here forever.
Right.
Because there's no other rules, right? So in comes rule number 3. We're going to have these turns. Let's call them lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then from a broad perspective, we're going to kind of outline what our turns, what we want to accomplish and do in each turn.
Mm-hmm.
And potentially we outline how many turns we're going to play, roughly, if we succeeded each turn in series. But what happens is part of rule 3 says that if we play in our turn, our lifetime, and we don't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish, we get to do the turn over.
Ooh.
And over.
Okay.
And over again until such time as we figure it out. And then we get to move on to the next turn and the next turn and the next turn.
I love that. That sounds like a blend of reincarnation mixed with a wee bit of Christianity in there. I like that.
Exactly. So what happens is, sorry, I need to pause this thing, is that with that rule, we now have kind of the turns laid out where we're playing. We redo if we need to.
We're playing a little bit fair for everybody. Okay.
We may get stuck. We may end up stuck here for a long time. We may end up doing things quicker. But we also leave ourselves signposts or cheat codes as we move along as well.
Okay.
Which is back to what you were saying. So here we are in this game. The fourth rule is that we agree to be 100% invested in the game when we're in it. Which means that we're going to feel and experience everything to its fullest.
Okay.
The whole range of it. All of it.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Everything. Now, rules 5 through 8, I'm going to let you read in the book. But basically, with those 4 rules, it starts to take a look at, okay, so I'm in this game. I'm this connected being that's a co-creator.
Right.
That's agreed to forget our godlike abilities. Well, why did I do that? Why did I set this game up this way? Why did I agree to these rules? So to answer that, let me ask you a question.
Listen.
Have you ever played tic-tac-toe?
Yes.
Do you play it now?
Not that very often, no.
Why?
It's not complex enough.
Pretty boring, right?
Yeah.
I mean, once you figure out where to put the X's and O's,
tag, three in a row is,
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so now think about you're this infinite being,
mm-hmm.
and you want to play a game that's hard, not tic-tac-toe. How complex would that game look?
I think it would depend on. Because I feel like even really complex concepts can be explained in an entertaining way or can be, you know what I mean? Like Monopoly is very intricate if you look at why it was made, right? But to play it, it's pretty fun. You get the little pieces and then you do with the money and then you get the houses, you know what I mean? So depending on the level of complexity you want to participate, I think that would determine how you frame the rules or the type of game you choose or the thing, the complexity you're craving. Yeah?
Bingo.
Okay.
Bingo.
Okay, good. Okay. Whew.
So, but I would guess that the planet Earth is designed to be pretty hard. Otherwise, it's not going to be a lot of fun, and I'm not going to experience a lot, right?
True.
Okay. So then we have things that keep us busy. Have you ever heard of the Gnostics?
I haven't. Tell me about it.
So they believe in
their religion. Yes, I have.
They believe in archons.
Yes.
Which are the gods that created reality.
Mm-hmm.
And in the true Gnostic sense, the archons actually trapped our souls in this reality in order to feed on negative energy.
Oh, dang it.
However, I would say that, even though that's possible, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I would also say that we're pretty, as omnipotent beings like souls,
mm-hmm.
we're probably pretty smart, and we're probably not going to hand over our freedom to another god. So maybe the archons exist, but they exist as part of our agreement in order to make our turns harder.
Ooh,
and what they do is they bring in fear and doubt to keep us feeling small and disconnected instead of allowing us to remember what we are and grow into what we are.
Okay, so this is the moment. I'm always looking for the moment because, like I said, we were talking about fear. How do you recommend we approach fear? How do we transmute our energy and our approach to fear so that it benefits us? Because it's the thing, like you said, if we rely on the archons, whatever belief system we choose, we're experiencing fear.
We are experiencing stuff.
Regardless of what the soul is reincarnated as, the physical body has experienced fear. Whether you're a frog or a person or an elephant, fear has popped up. So how can we embrace it to transmute it?
Well, first, let's identify. I think if we boil it down, there's 2 kinds of fears.
Ooh, okay.
There's the fear where the saber-toothed tiger is chasing me down the hill and I better run or
Oh
I'm going to
no,
get
kitty.
eaten, right?
Bad kitty. You know, it's so funny. Everybody knows that, like, my preferred way to die is to be mauled by a cat.
Ah, well, I picked it then.
Yeah, I was like, no, bad kitty. No, here's some catnip. No, kitty, eat the tuna. You know. So.
You better have a lot of catnip for a saber-tooth. The second type of fear is all fear.
Oh, okay. In the head. Okay.
And that's the fear that stops us and freezes us
Yes,
from
it is.
doing things and moving forward. And we're taught from children up certain things. So let me take a side channel here. How many stories, or maybe it's happened to you, where you've heard of children being able to see ghosts and see things that are quote unquote not real?
That has not happened to me, but I do know of a lot of people, of kids that have experienced that. Yeah.
What do parents do when their child comes and tells them they saw ghosts?
They laugh, they get freaked out, they try to reshape the narrative, they try to pacify you, it was, like you said, it was just a dream, there's a lot of PR happening there, a lot of
free training, right?
Yes, a lot of PR happening.
So, but parents don't do this to be mean. They do this because they think they're helping calm their child.
Yeah.
In today's world, it's actually called gaslighting.
You know what? As another side, we're on a different street now. I hate the phrase gaslighting, how it became so common for us, because gaslighting was supposed to be related to narcissism.
Right. And again, the parents aren't doing this to be mean.
Right.
But what they're doing is you're coming to them and saying, I'm seeing ghosts, and they're telling you it's not real and you imagined it.
Well, you know what? That's disregarding someone else's belief. That's what disregarding someone's belief system.
Bingo.
And it's so easy to do because belief systems are totally intangible, and only the person experiencing it has the depth of the context of it.
Exactly.
So unless you have the openness, and you gotta move with I talk about delusion in every episode because it is my favorite personality trait of mine. But you have to be delusional enough to think you see it with them in order for there to be a shared belief system.
Exactly right. You're spot on in all cases. So, but what happens is that we're taught from a very young age that we're disconnected, small, that ghosts don't exist, that these things that happen to us that I would argue are the real things going on, are not real.
No.
They're imaginary. We ate the wrong food. We didn't get enough sleep. We had a bad dream. What if those things are actually going on and those are part of the signposts, the cheat code that we've left for ourselves?
I say that a lot. So one of my conspiracy theories, and listening to you doesn't sound very conspiracy theory at all, but I very much believe in reincarnation. I do. Whether you are reincarnating as an ancestor, or you're or a descendant, or you're reincarnating as a frog, which if I get any preference, I would love to reincarnate as a frog. Being a human, but costs a lot of money. I'd like to just ribbit throughout the day, eat some flies. You know what I mean?
That's a really nice pond out in the middle of a really pretty field, a very pretty meadow.
That sounds like a great time to me. But whenever I see kids and I totally believe in the signpost conversation, because when I see kids and they're like, oh no, you've been here before, or you have an old person, an old soul, or you have all of those things, I don't think that's a joke. I take that very literally. And like when I see little kids that have very old acting personalities, I'm like, no, that was from the last life. So, I own a hair salon. I have clients that come in and I take care of generations. So sometimes I get to see the grandmothers and the moms and the daughters and get to grow up with them, right? And so I have some little girls, like there's one client, I call her Boss Baby, because I am certain if there is a bet, that's going to be my $1 million bet. I'm putting a rent on that. She's a reincarnated like CEO, stock executive, Black Monday person. I'm certain she is. There's no way. I can't be convinced otherwise because
Understood.
she's so well developed inside of her craft that I know that this is a rollover. This this is a
Very well,
combination. You didn't
very
get this here.
easily,
Yeah.
very easily could be. Absolutely. And what may have happened is maybe she's been stuck in a particular turn for a long time and
Mhm.
decided to throw some cheat codes down
Yep.
at the beginning.
Yep.
So, but the question is, we're taught to not listen to these cheat codes
Ooh.
from a
Okay.
child, and not because people are trying to be mean or squish us, but it's just what they were taught. And so we're
Right.
taught that when we see these ghosts, they're not real, and that when we have these abilities as a child that don't make sense, well, okay, that's just odd, or they're a savant and it's just something weird going on, or maybe they're on the spectrum or whatever.
Yeah.
And they don't really understand or look at maybe this person's actually projecting things they've learned over multiple lifetimes.
I believe all of those things are happening at the same time. I don't
Absolutely.
believe in any separation of those things. I think you can be neurodivergent and
Sure.
spiritually
Connected.
perceptive in lots of different ways. I am being an autistic person, a neurodivergent person with a
Yeah.
very strong spiritual grounding. Those things do coexist. There's no
Well,
separation. I think to make you more easily digestible in society, we attempt to, but I think we're designed for the interconnectedness of it.
well, think of it this way. If we are these soul beings that came into this
Mm-hmm.
game,
Mm-hmm.
that is the foundation of everything. We are, in fact, all interconnected all the time.
Absolutely.
Everything else is just icing on the cake.
Yeah. It's just governance
So,
and management. Yeah.
and then it gets down to what we listen to and what we pay attention to. So now back to your question about fear. Fear is a way to stop us and slow us down and getting us to ignore the signposts and the cheat codes that are always coming our way.
Okay.
When fear comes up, one of the easiest examples is I'm at a job and I want to ask for a raise, but I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do I do with that?
First, you got to reframe the language.
Okay, or what if I start becoming curious about what it is I'm fearing?
Yes.
So if I say, okay, I can feel I'm afraid to ask for this raise. I can feel what's going on. I feel locked right now. Well, why is that? What is it that I fear, and how is it serving me now?
Ooh, that sounds like a fear projection or a
So,
scarcity mindset.
fear of rejection. Okay, great. What if it's a fear I'm going to get fired?
Ooh, that's
Right?
scarcity. I mean, all of it's gonna boil down to a scarcity mindset.
It's going to be
Either not-
somewhere in there, right?
Yep.
And then once you say, "Oh, wait, you know what? Once I start being curious and asking, where's this coming from? How is it serving me? I get to the point of, oh, you know what? I'm afraid about being fired. Okay, what about that is bad? Well, I don't get my money. I lose my job, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what does that look like? And then you dig into it and, okay, so where's that coming from? Well, it's probably coming from a doubt or scarcity, like you said. But what it does is it changes the fear from blocking you to a fear of saying, okay, I now have a choice that I can make consciously.
Yes. You made an important point. You said fear is designed to slow us down. That was the first part of your sentence. And then you commented with something else. But I love the part that fear allows you to slow down. We need those moments where we need to reconsider or to dive deeper or to ponder and meditate and journal. So I love that. And be curious. Yeah. A lot of people don't appreciate fear enough to be curious about it. The anxiousness of it, the scarcity of it. Yeah.
That's what freezes them and keeps them. If you don't be curious about, in our question, okay, why am I scared of asking for a raise? What happens? You never ask for a raise.
Do you
And
not
you
make
feel
more
frustrated
money?
and you feel stuck and you feel like you can't go anywhere and you can't win and you feel small.
The funny thing is, it doesn't sound like the fear went away at all. It sounds like the fear got a lot bigger and a lot more difficult to manage.
And then if you're curious, the reverse happens.
Yeah, you go back through it and you start to unwork it until it's so small that it was never
It just
anything to
goes
begin
away.
with. Yeah, I
Bingo.
love that.
Bingo.
I'm trying to think. There's a book that I read recently that taps into that. Is it The Big Leap? It must be The Big Leap. That was my favorite book for the year so far. And it's talking about, it really focuses on the self sabotage and how to spend time with that mental self sabotage so that you can say, am I just being protective? Am I being defensive? Is it fear? Is it scarcity? It makes you address your self sabotage in a critical thinking way, as opposed to, oh my God, this feels uncomfortable, I need to fix or run away from it. But no, let's sit in this space of discomfort and figure out what's discomforting about it. Because if you do that, you then can do whatever was on the other side of it, you
You're
know?
now given conscious choice.
Yeah. And I love telling people all the time, you always have options. But do you allow yourself enough space to consider them? And some of them are going to take time. Some of them are going to require discipline or for you to pull back or require less of you. But fear has that grip of, if I don't do it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. These rattling noises, this chaotic sound that you're just trying to get away from the chaos. You're not trying to see it through to the other side.
Right.
I
Now,
love that.
we've now taken a peek into fear at a very finite, small thing like asking for a raise.
Mm-hmm.
How does fear operate at the soul level and keeping us from achieving what we want to do in each of our lifetimes?
Questions that need answers. Okay. What do we do? How do we manage this, Kris?
Well, one of the ways to take a look at this is small miracles are happening on a daily basis.
Oh, I love that.
And let me give you an example of
Mm-hmm.
how it's real. All through my life and growing up, I can be sitting at a restaurant or a coffee shop enjoying my book and sitting there quietly in my own little space. And some random person will go and pull up a chair at my table, not ask me, sit down, tell me their life story, things that you would never even tell your best friend.
And would not want your best friend to know.
Have a whole on discussion, and then get up and walk away.
Oh.
And this has been happening since I was like 15, 14 years old. And initially, for probably a couple of years, probably until I was in my 20s, I kind of looked at this like, this is really bizarre. Why are these people doing this? I'm not
What am I
looking
doing
at
to make them think it's okay? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm not
here?
looking at them. I'm not inviting them over. I'm reading my book.
But your piece is probably inviting them.
So, well, exactly right. So, what I found in doing some deep questioning of every single one of those people, I even had it happen last weekend with my family having breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, every single one of them, what I found when being curious about it and digging in,
Mm-hmm.
is that every single one of them needed to hear something I had to say, and I needed to hear something they had to say.
You know what I call that? I call that being a vessel. Sometimes I'm not here to say the things. Sometimes my body is here for you to hear the things being said. Because trust me, in a hair salon, let me tell you what, I know all of my clients, husbands, boyfriends, exes, I know all their business, okay? Shoe size, what toothpaste they use, I know everything because I get so much unsolicited information, but it has taught me so much about life that it's an exchange. And I'm very direct and honest. I'm like, oh, babe, this is a bad idea. Dump him. I love to tell people to dump him. Dump him, babe. Totally better guys out there. But it's always an exchange. You think you're saying something that they need to hear, but like you said, it's also something that you needed to hear and experience as well. So I call those vessel moments. Yes, we're a vessel for one another.
The way I say it is there's no such things as coinkydinks.
Absolutely not.
And what I mean by that also, which is the same thing you said, is that I think that we're always connected. And that when we have conversations like this,
Mm-hmm.
we've actually already had a discussion at the soul level saying, oh, yeah, let's do this
Mm-hmm.
so we can share some information with our avatar in the game,
Mm-hmm.
share some cheat codes, share some whatever is necessary for each one of us to continue on our soul path.
I love that. I love that. And that's why it's so important to remain connected to people. I think there's so many reasons to not be connected, and there's so many conveniences that inadvertently lead to disconnection, but we miss those vesseled moments without it. And I think those are the spaces where breakthroughs can happen.
Absolutely. We're taught, quite frankly, I think we're taught from the school systems and society to stay small, talk when, only speak when we're spoken to, and all these different things that are designed to disconnect us.
Right.
And I think that was by design. I think that's designed to keep us in the game longer and experience more. However, it keeps us from our soul path. And then as we start listening,
Mm-hmm.
so let me give you an example of listening. So I told you about what happens to me and these people and how I saw it affects,
Mm-hmm.
and that those aren't coincidences. There are no such things as coincidences. The reverse example is I was talking to this lady, I don't know, a month ago, and I was sharing kind of the same concept. And she says, that just happened to me yesterday. Somebody sat down and started talking to me, and I was busy doing stuff. I got really upset. And I'm listening, and she says, but then I kept my mouth shut and I let them go on. And then actually I learned some things that I needed right then and there.
Yeah.
She said, what you're saying is that all of us are taught to have that anger response and things. But when we choose to slow down and choose to understand that even small miracles like people connecting happen daily and hourly.
Yeah.
The more we pay attention to those smaller things, then the bigger miracles can also take place.
Yeah.
And we're more aware of it.
Yeah, I love that. The phrase I've been using is the blessing is in your everyday behavior. And I think a lot of us are looking for that big that lottery ticket, or looking for that hero moment that'll come and do all of the correction for you. But the correction is in the daily behavior. It's in reconnecting. And I've literally had that experience. Right now, my phrase right now that I've been experiencing a lot of is I'm people rich. Where, okay, it's not about the work I can do. It's not about my technical skills. It's not about my degrees. It's being surrounded by cup fillers. And being surrounded with people you aspire to be like, and people whose energy you enjoy and feel replenished by, and people who lend their love to you and vice versa. But I feel very people rich, but this is a harvest season. This is me planting into myself that this is the type of person that I want to experience. So this is the type of person I need to be. So I had to do a lot of investment into what does my best friend look like? And then I needed to be the best friend.
No, you have to first be your best friend.
Yes. And it allowed me to move a lot slower with myself, to be less hypercritical with myself, to be more nurturing, more graceful, more patient. And so when I come into contact with others, they are enamored by the emotional skills that I'm bringing to the experience, not the preparation.
And by your vibrational state.
Absolutely. But the vibrational state is because of the emotional
investments,
the internal investment. And so now they resonate with that. And instead of saying, oh no, but we have the same skill level, or we both have this degree, we're resonating on an emotional frequency, which is far more powerful than any degree is. Don't get me wrong. Go to school, finish your paperwork, get your degrees, whoop-de-whoop, and invest in your, again, the reoccurring themes this year have been like people skills and connection and transforming through community and
emotional resilience, self-love.
Yes, but I have not heard a technical skill yet. And I think that is
Yeah.
the most brilliant. This is the most abundant I've ever felt.
Nice.
And trust me, I have degrees, I have businesses, I've
Yeah.
traveled internationally. I've done all of the things. To be 38, I've done all of the things that I set out. To your point of what happens next. And it was,
Yeah.
I got to
What?
my point where
Now
it was
what?
like, well, now what? And the response was work on your people skills. Work on your social skills. You don't need to build another business. You need to connect with the world around you. You need to connect deeper. And
Agreed.
so, and to your point, even starting a podcast, I started off the first couple of seasons just by myself. You know, I would have interviews where I could, but something said, no, keep producing episodes. If you build it, they will come, you know. The movie, I don't even know what movie that was, but there was a movie that said, if you build it, they will come. And the amount of response I've received just from being committed to presenting, being committed to showing up, it's so
It's
heartwarming.
huge. It's huge.
Huge. It's heartwarming. You know, I would have never had the opportunity to sit with a published author or to have, you know, international conversations or any of that if I had not been willing to show up.
Exactly right.
With the right frequency. Okay. How can we get in touch with you? Because we got to wrap the episode up. Unfortunately,
We can
y'all,
keep
I
going.
am mad. Let me tell you about the resistance I'm experiencing, okay? Is having other stuff to do. But how do we stay connected? How do we get your book? How do we connect with you deeper? How do we learn more about Kris Land?
Okay, so if you go to krisland.com, KRISLAND.com, that's my website. I've been extremely blessed on the internet and technology space. If you go on Google and type in either my name or The Infinity Within,
okay, that's the name of the book.
I have like the first 3 pages.
Okay, Chris got the SEO on lock. Okay.
And The Infinity Within has, I've been very blessed. I've won 9 gold awards with it.
Yes!
It has been accepted by the industry as a book that's changing people's lives.
I'll be ordering mine tonight. I'll have my Infinity Within by tomorrow.
Nice. That's awesome. Thank you. The Audible book version, I was, again, very fortunate. If you don't mind, I'll tell you a quick ego story.
Yes, tell me.
So I have never written a spiritual book. I mean, as I mentioned, I wrote this 40 plus years ago, but I didn't publish it until recently.
Mm-hmm.
My other books that I've written all deal with a little bit more material world stuff, like how to build your dream home or the finance book for young adults, you know, those kinds of things. So I had no idea how The Infinity Within would be received. And this was before I'd won all these awards. I was looking for a voice that I felt would really speak to put the right voice to the book.
Yeah.
So I found this gentleman. His name's Eduardo Bellini, and I may be butchering his name, so forgive me. But Eduardo he's done over 750 books, narrated over 750 books. He's an award-winning narrator. He's also an actor, and I believe he's on a TV series as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's a producer.
Oh,
so pretty good. Oh, and he's done books for Eckhart Tolle. He's done books for the Dalai Lama. He's done books for Dean Koontz. I mean, he's done some major books, major authors in this space.
Sounds like it, yeah.
So I get a hold of him, and the first thing he tells me is, I'm going to be a little expensive. And I said, I get that. I understand. We'll figure that out. And the second thing he says is, my schedule is very busy, and I might not be able to get to your book until the middle of 26.
Okay.
He said, you know what? I get that too, but your voice is important enough. What you present and how you present yourself in reading is important enough to me to wait.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So in Audible, the narrator has to do a 15-minute like pre-recording in order to officialize the contract.
Mm-hmm.
So Eduardo goes ahead and does the 15 minutes, and the next day gets a hold of me. He says, Kris, I'm not putting this down. I've put all my other stuff on pause. and I'm going to finish this book this week. So that was huge for me to have somebody with his background and his abilities to say, you know what, I'm going to take the time to get this done now. So for anybody that likes for anybody that likes Audible or the Apple version of that, it's very much well listening to him and how he narrates the book.
I love that. I love that. One, you didn't force the experience. You embraced all of the details. Like, that's something that people have to do. Sometimes we are so forced on, it needs to be done right now, that you limit your opportunities. But that you embraced it and then it showed up for you. I think that's amazing. Yes.
Yeah. And you bring up an extremely important fact. Had I said, no, you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way, he probably would have told me to go pound sand.
Or something. If he responded, because it doesn't sound like he wasn't making money. This wasn't a financial decision for him. This was at this point, I'm only going to align with what is necessary. So I think that's
what feels good for him is what he wanted to align with.
Yep. That's amazing. Yeah. I'm excited to read your book. I am. And I hope all of my my listeners check into this book as well. It is called Infinity Within by Kris Land. The Infinity Within by Kris Land. So yes, my copy is on the way. Okay. I'll have mine. Okay. One more sold. And I'm definitely going to read it and give feedback on the episodes. Yeah.
Please. Yeah.
Please. I love doing that.
When you get done reading it, please let me know.
I will. I'll have you back. I'll have more questions.
And if you want to connect again, feel free to do so as well.
Yes, I'll have more questions. Yes. But we got to end this episode. Everybody, please check this out. This was such a rewarding conversation because I love how you were able to walk through all of the steps and make it very digestible about how we experience our souls and experience our lives. So I'm super excited to see how you've explained it even more in your book. So listen to this episode. You have books to order. You have audiobooks to download. Everybody go get active. You can listen to this episode of Energy is Currency on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon Podcasts. We got a few options. But always remember, your energy is your currency. Please use it wisely. And thank you so much, Kris, for joining us. I look forward to reading your book and to having you back. I really do.
Thank you, Alexis. I very much had a good time.
Thank you.